I was shooting for the moon. This is what I did when I was just 19 years old. I had applied for a banker position that my resume couldn't back up, even if I printed it on gold paper, bedazzled it with gems, and stapled a $100 bill to one corner to give it some worth. But I did it anyway. So there I was, waiting to be interviewed by an executive of a Fortune 500 bank. I was so nervous. My palms were sweaty and my legs restlessly shaking from the anticipation and anxiety while waiting for my name to be called. Then I heard my name. I got up and walked into the office where the interviews were held, and there she was, the market area manager, sitting behind this beautiful, elegant, mahogany executive-style desk. I could tell that there was this strong aura about her and that she was an assertive and strong-minded individual. I was intimidated, but I did my best. I did my best to appear cool, calm, and collected. I sat on a chair directly across from her. I gave her my resume. She took it and started reviewing it. As she was reviewing it, I noticed her facial reactions changed from normal to confused. And while I was waiting for a response, I couldn't help but think to myself, oh my gosh, I think she's thinking that someone had made a mistake, that I should have been somewhere else interviewing for a bank teller position. My heart was beating out of my chest, and the silence, although it was just for a few moments, felt like an eternity. Then finally, she looked up at me and she asked, "Why are you applying for this position? You don't even have any sales or enough work experience." So let's just pause for a few moments and let me tell you what my life had been before that moment. When I was a little girl, I lived in this beautiful island in the Philippines called Cebu. I love Cebu, and I am truly an island girl. Then, when I was 11 years old, I was plucked from my little paradise and we moved to this cold, harsh, busy city of San Francisco. Boy, was I miserable. Towards my middle school year and towards my high school years, I also got into a lot of trouble. And it also didn't help that I was surrounded with people who were not positive influences in my life. And at home, there were a lot of problems too. And all of these negativity combined was just too much for me to handle and carry. And a month before my 16th birthday, I had a nervous breakdown, a major nervous breakdown. And I ended up at the hospital for 3 long weeks. And while I was at the hospital, I had a lot of time to reflect upon my life. And I realized that some things gotta change, and I couldn't continue the way that I was living and seeing and experienced. So a few weeks after I was released from the hospital, I demanded emancipation. That was important to me, and I had to do it, and I did it. So at 16 years old, I left home with only $60 in my pocket. I moved here to San Diego to get a fresh redo at my life. You see, leaders are often not complacent with the status quo, and they reach and strive above their boundaries to achieve their goals. And I was ready to do the same. So there I was, my 19-year-old heart beating out of my chest, and she looks up at me and asks, "Why are you applying for this position when you don't even have any sales and enough work experience?" I mustered up all of my courage. I knew a lot was at stake for me. And I looked at her and answered, "I know I don't have the ideal experience you're looking for in a banker, But I want to let you know I am a determined person. I am an action taker. And I will do whatever task or job that is required of me, regardless of how small and big it is. I know it is a big risk to go with someone without any formal experience, but I want to let you know I'm taking a big risk too. I decided to apply for this position because I want to be successful. I want you to know I want to be successful. Then I was like, oh my gosh, did that just really come out of my mouth? But it did. And I meant it because my life depended on it. The interview lasted for 40 minutes, and she offered me the job before I left her office. I shared this story with you because this was the day I realized the importance in believing in yourself. I also learned that people are willing to give you a chance and support you. If you believe in yourself, you step up and you take action. These are the key elements you need in order for you to get to where you need to go. And most importantly, these are the things you need to help you realize your full potential as an individual, and most importantly, as a leader. A year and a half after I landed that banker job, I was promoted to assistant manager. And then 2 years after that, I was promoted to assistant vice president. Let me say it again. I was promoted to assistant vice president. This was a big deal for a 23-year-old girl. I was one of the youngest bank managers in our region, and I received many awards as top performer and top manager during my banking career. I remember an evening when I was closing up the branch and I was the last person there, and I locked the door and I turned around from where I was standing. And then I looked over to my right towards the empty banker's desk, and then I found my eyes moving towards the back, towards the lending and business banking offices, and then over to my left towards the empty bank teller stations. And I just stood there in awe. And I remember thinking to myself, wow. If I could do this with just a little bit of determination, vision, persistence, and drive, what more can I do if I just put my entire self and mind to it? What I have learned is that if I wanted to lead the outcomes I wanted in my life, I just had to decide and do it. I've also learned that I could do anything, regardless if I was unsure or how unclear I was that it was going to happen. In 2006, I was just 27 years old. I started my IT and consulting company along with my husband. And once again, I just took that leap of faith and I took action. And I continue to do this time and time again. I continue to say yes to opportunities and stretch beyond myself to make it happen. We all know that the information technology field is an industry dominated by men. But never did it cross my mind that I would not be successful because I'm a woman or because I wear a dress. It has been one of the best decisions I've made for myself, for my family, and for my professional career. I have always led with the values and the benefits, and I think to myself, how can I be of service to others? And I never allow being a woman stop me from pursuing whatever I want. So you have to understand leadership my way. It's about allowing myself the opportunity to succeed, knowing and acknowledging my worth, doing what I know is right, and allowing myself the space, allowing myself to shine and stand in my own power. Leadership my way is about not backing down when I'm defeated, but I get up, I stand up strong, and I keep at it, and I stay focused on what I need to do. Leadership my way It's about allowing myself to strive, do more of what I want, and most importantly, do more of what I love. It is also about living life fearlessly and with faith. This is how we need to lead our lives. You need to have faith in yourself, you need to have faith in others, and in everything that you do. I may be an island girl, but what I have learned is the world is our playground. I continue to shoot for the moon, and I dare you to do the same. I want to end with this quote, and the quote says, "Shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you will land among the stars."